Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the DreamHack All-Stars Winter Clash here for Heroes of the Storm, as we're about to get into our lower bracket game here of Group A to determine, unfortunately for one of these teams, who is going to be going home. Not exactly the best of positions to be in, but both teams for sure have put up quite a good fight in their previous series. And now they face elimination. We can check in with the brackets, actually, here before we get going to start things off and check out exactly what has happened so far with Team Dignitas and Team Rockat sitting in the winners match at the moment. And now we decide who is going home first. So we will be going from 8 teams to 7 teams very quickly here at DreamHack Winter. And that is going to be quite the game because, you know, again, what we saw from TCM and mYi were good series. And will they be able to win it out? Let's check things. What are you doing?
Sorry, I was just checking the latest scores on the Score eSports to see how all the games were doing. Just checking the results.
Just checking the results.
I'm here.
Thank you.
A fantastic app.
You can download it now.
Well, I appreciate your plug at least. Yeah. That works. That's a beautiful thing.
I'm nothing if not loyal.
No, indeed. And also, of course, you can get yourself Cho'Gall here, potentially at least, if you tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. onwards and tune into the final, as well as have your Battle.net account attached to the Twitch. And as well as that, you can hashtag DreamHack Plays Heroes and tweet us who you think is going to be winning the next series. Look at Cho'Gall with his Hammer of Twilight. He's beautiful.
You'll get it for sure. Otherwise, Skylice will personally purchase it for you.
You can't purchase it. I'm in the clear. Brilliant. I'm not going to spend any money.
As in, he will play with you.
No. Oh, well, okay, I can do
Actually,
that.
you help a lot of people.
I did help 7 people get
7?
Cho'Gall. Yes.
How many did you help?
I thought it was more.
And we didn't do AI games. We didn't cheat, so it took a while.
And we didn't win.
You only played.
We didn't win a lot of games.
You only played Cho, though, no?
I played Cho a lot, and then with some other people I played Gall, depending on their rank.
It's so funny, actually, like playing with a low-ranking player, and you're just letting them be the Cho.
No.
I can't tell if you're serious.
No, I'm serious.
Did you do it?
It's the only game I ever won as Cho'Gall where I was Gall, and I put like a kind of like an amateur in control of the moves. There will be like a Kael'thas, 20% life, gets Octo grabbed, we're Cho'Gall, full life, next to it, no one else, and he walks away. I'm like, get him! get him! And then the Murky was like, why did you guys walk away? And I'm just putting my hands up in the air. No, I'm not the Cho.
I insist on being the Cho when it comes to playing with lower ranked players, for sure.
Do it, and maybe you'll find that you enjoy it when someone else is wearing the pants. So I swear it was really fun.
Yeah, no. Okay, so
that went too far.
Let's check in with the schedule as well here, as we have a rundown of what has gone on so far, as well as what is to come here at the DreamHack All-Stars Winter Clash. We've already had 2 games conclude from Group A, and we will be moving on into more very, very soon here, as we do have that lower bracket game on the way for you in just a moment. So mYi going up against TCM. They did have a good series between each team had a good series against their opponents.
They might disagree though, especially mYi with the way this ended. They might be still a little bit upset about that boss here and afraid to ever start another one.
I appreciate your disagreement, Todd. And we'll move on to Kendrick quickly. Kendrick, what do you think about the previous series?
You know, I think both of the previous series were a lot of fun to watch because they had everything you wanted. And I mean, mistakes by teams can actually be quite entertaining. So it also shows the normal average player out there that even the pros sometimes, they're not perfect. And so I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I guess it encourages people to take up the reins themselves.
Learn from their mistakes, exactly.
That, I wasn't going to say that one, but that one's good too.
Yeah.
That's a mistake nobody has ever learned from, though, going for the boss. Everybody does
no,
it.
everyone just keeps going. But also, it encourages people out there maybe to pick up and try a little bit of Pro Heroes of the Storm themselves.
Yes.
Because there are weekly tournaments out there you can sign up to and stuff like that.
If you are a person that has never done a throw pit, you might be better than some of these pros here. And you should sign up on some of them.
Up until you play on the map with the boss.
Grubby, I think we've had enough roster changes already, okay? So.
Well, guys, it seems our schedule is indeed updated as well. So let's take a quick look at that to have a look, see what has gone on so far. Dignitas and TCM, it was a 2-1, and then we got another 2-1 as well with Roccat going up against mYi. Now we are on to TCM versus mYi. And then finally, for this group later on, we will have Dignitas versus Roccat, which is sure to be quite the hype match.
I like how that last match keeps getting pushed back. Where are we going to end with it? It's midnight 30 right now, supposed to start.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point, yeah.
And we've been adding an hour with every series. So
I was betting 3 a.m.
If my calculations are right, 5:30 a.m. is when it's going to start.
Australia's cheering in their sleep right now that they're going to get to see most of the games.
We don't go home, we just stay here for day 2. It's like, well, day 2's roundabout, and all the players are really angry at that point.
That passion is not going to spend itself.
No, I guess not. I guess not. It's only 2 days. We can do that. We can do that. That's fine. Be a little bit difficult. So, right, let's get into TCM versus mYi. These two teams squaring off against one another for elimination, importantly. This is a big thing, considering that mYi came into this tournament with a lot of hype on them. A lot of hype on their shoulders here, Kendrick. And
yeah. You know, at least I can say that Roccat consists of some Germans as well, so I'm not entirely super sad.
Yeah.
But the next team who's going to lose is out of the tournament. And that's certainly not what any of those teams had hoped for. And I'm really curious to see how mYi fares after losing a game and, you know, trying to regroup and refocus in such a short amount of time.
There's Wilby as well. Todd, what do you think about mYi's position? I mean, it's definitely, you know, a lot of teams saw them as quite the fearsome opponent.
Yeah.
And Roccat kind of, it's as if they learnt from game to game how to deal with them.
I think they are a very strong team out there, and like there were moments against Roccat, even though they lost 1 and 2, where they did very well and they did shine in that series. But there were other moments where it was like, what the hell are you doing? That last boss comes to mind as well. Yeah. So I think they should just look to keep on playing well in the early stages of the game and stop making those huge, I guess, decision-making mistakes down the line, because that's really what's costing them in the long run.
And Grubby, I mean, looking at how these two teams match up, again, you know, we saw TCM in that first series playing the very defensive style, playing that super sustained style that could potentially trip over this aggressive style if they get further down the line.
Yeah, I mean, mYi showed more diversity of play style than it seemed like they were going to be showing, but Team Roccat showed even more when they beat them down there.
Yes.
And TCM, they impressed. They did lose, but against a very strong opponent. So I think this could actually be one of the most evenly matched games so far.
Yeah, I think you can narrow down the mistakes of mYi to a very few ones, like, you know, the boss in that map number 3 and map number 2, like, Kael'thas' entire team got caught in a mosh pit. He literally blinked.
Into it.
Is
that bad?
He used Bolt of the Storm. He was supposed to blink right outside of it and use gravity lapse and save everybody. Instead, he thought it was musical chairs and actually joined them in the dancing.
Someone else will be free.
Just these mistakes alone put them in a lot of trouble. So this time around, should be looking to try and fix that. No more
bolting into mosh pits at throw pits.
Kendrick, when it comes to the previous 2 series that we saw, who do you think looked stronger? Do you think TCM looked stronger when it came to going up against Dignitas, or do you think that Spartania and mYi had a better showing?
Difficult to say. I mean, TCM played a very great first game, but the remaining 2 were actually not as great, especially game 3 was pretty much over soon. So I think there are 2 styles that clash once more. We saw TCM with a very stalling, very defensive game, which they won. So things like Malfurion and Tassadar Force Wall all the time against a brute force comp that mYi likes to run ever so often. So it's going to remain to be seen whether, you know, engaging aggressiveness wins or if the delaying defensive-ness will reign supreme.
Well, and the thing is, ADRD here on TCM, he watched the entire match. He's already added up all the numbers, made the mathematics, and he knows exactly what he's going to be going for.
He's already beaten them. In his mind, they're already 2-0 defeated. He just needs his teammates not to screw up. Just do what I've already foreseen. They have been solved.
Idiardi, certainly a very interesting sub to come into TCM. Not exactly who I was expecting, really, to actually join alongside this roster. And he does definitely shake things up for sure.
I don't think anybody was expecting it. Like, they probably they were asking around, we need a soldier to play against Dignitas. He raised his hand instantly. I'll be that guy.
Yeah, I think nobody would have expected mYinsanity, who actually beat Dignitas in the past, who then also beat TCM. So in theory, mYinsanity should have this game in the back. But
oh, it's an adorable love triangle.
Yeah.
Always works.
It all comes together.
Always works when it does.
You underestimate Idiardi here, I think.
Well, we shall see.
Whoa.
I don't think so.
So Todd, your prediction so far, 100%. Keep it up. Who's going to win?
I think TCM.
I think TCM is going to win.
Kendrick?
I'm just following here.
I'm going with mYinsanity, not only because I'm a German, fellow German, but also because I think they really got their mind together. They analyzed their mistakes, hopefully. And I think if they stick to their recipe that gave them the first win in the series, if they don't get those individual or team mistakes done, shot calling, getting caught off guard, doing throw pits, there is no big issue.
And they're German.
And we are now... that helps, that helps. All right, we are into our draft for game number 1. It's going to be Tomb of the Spider Queen here, with mYinsanity starting off with first pick and first ban. And the thing is about Tomb of the Spider Queen is you get the luxury of not having to ban out an Abathur on this map, because it's not as good.
Yeah, it's really bad here. Especially Monstrosity. Don't go Abba and Monstrosity.
Don't do that.
Don't do it.
No.
The nests are kind of good, but there's no split soaking. So
well, they
that
know.
leaves Tassadar on the ban, maybe?
Yeah, they know that Tassadar was such a force in TCM's first game against Dignitas. They know that Force Wall is one of the most dangerous tools to keep you at bay.
On this map as well.
On this map in particular, exactly, Kalaris. So I think it's a very intelligent, very good ban.
Yeah, even Storm, fantastic on this map to D-push.
Anything that jumps out at you guys against mYinsanity? Maybe like even something crazy like a Sonya. Well, it's not crazy, but a Sonya ban or something.
She is
like
crazy.
That. She is.
The
Yeah,
pick
she
is
is.
What?
Whoa!
All right, Tyrande. Boom.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. Where's the Tyrande?
It could be ETC or Tyrande as a first pick.
I would happily go with Tyrande, personally. How about you guys?
It's not a snap call though. You see, we saw some snap call Tyrandes. Ha ha ha! You let her through. But not this.
Maybe they really didn't expect Muradin to be banned like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, new info to process. What are they trying here?
The thing is that I feel on Tomb of the Spider Queen, Tyrande not only grants you great vision, right? But also, eventually going down the line, having Lunar Flare with such good range to be able to deny things all the time.
And you can check if the boss is being taken.
Yeah.
Or whether they're going for your boss.
The infamous bosses.
Maybe you can send maybe you can send a formal invitation to the enemies by let them know, hey, look at my owl, look at Hedwig. There we are.
And then you really lose the boss after inviting them.
No. All right, Kel'Thas ETC.
Solid.
Any surprises?
Oh, like very solid heroes here to go for on a map like this as well. Now, mYinsanity, who do they want to combo with Tyrande, with Muradin already being gone? Do we see Uther come on?
Maybe a Diablo?
It's got to be a stunning warrior, so a Nubarak Diablo. But
Uther
you don't necessarily have to take them already. Yeah, Uther is something like that.
You know
as
what
well.
I would love to see here? Stitches, but we're not going to see it. The good old,
it could work.
The good old, you know, back in the days when Fnatic came up with the hook Lunar Flare comp into an Uther maybe, who's also ready for the taking.
That's crazy. Actually.
That was crazy, eh?
But
Stitch doesn't exist.
8 out of 10 times, ETC is going to block that hook and is going to have the dream position for Moshpit if he survives.
That slow motion hook right there. Like, not ETC!
Get off my fish line!
Well, we got the Uther right, and then I was expecting Sonya to come up.
Damn it, Kendrick, you've put stitches in the head now.
If that one gets picked, I'm going to drop the map that I don't even hold.
What about TRL now? You think it has to be a stunning warrior no matter what?
I mean, it's mYinsanity. They had good success with Sonya before. She looked strong in their hands.
With going for Tyrande here and Uther early on, I guess, Uther definitely encourages Sonya a little bit.
Even Ancient Spear is like a stun as well, right?
Yeah.
I forgot how
What
long
about
it is.
Arthas? We always rule out Arthas.
This
Howling
early
Blast.
in the draft.
You can root people.
Whoa,
Okay.
That was unexpected.
Yes.
That is very unexpected. Not the common thing. The thing is now is that you can actually start with the Sylvanas being picked up early. Surely you can draft a little bit around that.
I mean, people keep on going for ETC and going for mosh pit. You might as well have a whole bunch of heroes that can properly interrupt. So far, it's 3 out of 3 here for my Insanity. They might just keep going this route.
Plus, usually when people try to finish someone in a mosh pit, they kind of cluster around. It provides the perfect Wailing Arrow positioning as well. You don't have to interrupt ETC if no one else is doing anything.
All right, Jaina gets banned up for TCM, or for TCM, I should say.
I also really like Sylvanas on a map like Tomb of the Spider Queen, where you have to clear a lot of waves, where you have to get rid of the web weavers, and her strong AoE wave clear is clearly helping out there. And in return, the Black Arrow is also going to help you when you're pushing to disable enemy structures and make your web weavers survive a little bit longer.
She's our ranged Johanna in the end for this kind of map.
Now, here's some heroes that that My Insanity should hope to pick up. Anything which is good early game. It's about all the early game heroes now, because when you win the early game, Sylvanas will win you the game. So you're not going to see Rainers coming out of My Insanity. You're not going to see Asmodan, even if he wasn't bugged. For TCM, though, they need to resist the early game. So actually, when anyone has Sylvanas, early game becomes really important.
Do you not think even a Zagara pick later on down the line for TCM is something that's good to rival that position of Sylvanas?
Yeah, because Zagara is good early game, so it makes a lot of sense.
Who's good here, though, to add right now for TCM? Like, what do you think?
Who's the best early game healer? Lily? Okay.
Please.
What's going on with you? You're getting tired of it.
I mean, they've pulled out the Malfurion once, but I think Malfurion might just be a little bit too susceptible to all these stun effects that My Insanity has picked up. But
are melee assassins still in the game? Because we haven't seen a whole lot.
I thought we were going to see some Thrall. But you know,
like
ETC is the new Kerrigan. That's why we're not seeing Kerrigan. He's doing the same thing, but double the health pool.
I think the picks in Group B are going to be a bit more wild when you've got teams like Liquid and G2 in there. Again, and Fnatic.
Yeah, Fnatic,
yeah. So maybe down the line during the day that we could see
some melee assassin.
Oh, well, yeah, that's a guarantee.
That's
at this point.
Good.
All right, so we have Leoric. So double warrior for TCM. So
it's the usual, you know, do they pick their healer now and then save a reactionary pick as last?
I think Zagara, Vala, Falstad is all okay.
Yeah. They go for
They're going that round,
so they have a reactionary pick.
Absolutely, and also Karzim definitely can help a lot against all of these stunners that they're already facing and disabling Sylvanas, Uther, and Tyrande.
Yeah. Of course, he can escape Wailing Arrow if he's quick enough and he's got a target and he's not previously stunned. My Insanity, what will they take for early game heroes?
Johanna, maybe?
We're in it, yeah. That's, I mean, for epic wave clear, that's a potential.
I mean, they got 2 horrible wave clearers, 1 awesome one. They would probably need at least 1 more awesome one. Johanna, very well predicted. And then, do they go for a second warrior or not?
Who's left?
Arthas,
Diablo,
Anubarak.
I kind of like solo Johanna tank here. You've already got 1.5 support.
It's probably one of the better ones, to go into a solo.
Merlin, Johanna are great at it. So maybe you can go for Falstad?
Falstad would be nice.
Push the mosh pit away.
I mean, there's hardly any other map like Tomb of the Spider Queen where you can accumulate those stacks early on so well.
But it can also be something very solid like Vala.
Nazeebo could be okay, maybe?
I would love that. We haven't seen that.
Assassin Thrall comes into play here.
They listen to us.
So, Grubby, I know you're a Thrall expert. What build are you thinking as this comp here?
Well, I think the best build almost always is Lightning at 1, and then the range on Wolves at 4, 7 follow through, Sundering, and then at 13 anything almost, and 16 the second chain Lightning. I love that one.
All right, Thrall builds guaranteed by Grubby.
The thing is, okay, so
he's not going to go for it. I've never seen anyone do it.
To outline this pick just a little bit more for those people who are a bit unfamiliar with heroes, his Thrall, since the scaling changes, has definitely increased in potency.
Yeah, if you look at Thrall, he used to get the most auto attack damage per level of any hero. Now, much of his auto attack damage bonus that he would normally only have at level 10, at level 20, has been embedded in his level 1 form. So he hits like a truck.
What?
Karazim is going to be a melee assassin too.
Oh, wow.
Or Twilight Dream.
No. Things took a crazy turn here. And we definitely expected the possibility here of seeing Karazim down the line be used as a damage dealer, but...
I was going to say that, because if Karazim goes for a full support build here, they're going to have to rely on Kel'Thas entirely for damage.
Yeah.
I think it could happen very well.
Unless you get to the point where, when we were talking about TCM before, we were talking about, this is the most sustainable comp since double support. And now they've gone double, well, potentially double support, but we're expecting to see melee Karazim, considering the lineup in the more normal meta conventions.
7-sided strike, though, against an Uther.
And against the
Johanna,
Johanna,
really
who can shield
You just
herself.
need to make sure you hit 2 targets with it then. Then maybe one gets shielded and the other one will take all the hits.
Against this isolated Johanna, I don't mind it, but the more people that get in it, it's like, well, this is useless.
But it's still great if Johanna gets divine shielded, because that leaves all the other targets to be attacked.
Yeah. This is an interesting little conundrum that we found ourselves in with these 2 rosters.
The support needs to decide who to save and who to late die. This is like Batman all over again.
It's an impossible choice. But the 7-sided strike cooldown is like 50 seconds. Divine Shield is 90.
Yeah.
So anytime you trade 1 for 1, that's a win.
Yeah, no, that's true. That is true.
Very true.
Gotta ask you guys, gotta prompt you, like, when we're looking at these rosters, when we're looking at these like compositions that we're seeing, who are you really favoring? You mentioned before, but looking at what we have, Kendrick?
I gotta follow my heart here. My heart tells me that the Green Jesus is finally back. And I know that Grubby is a big Thrall fan. I know that there's a lot of Horde fans out there as well. So I'll stick with my Insanity. I think it's a very interesting choice, especially in terms of Spider Queen. You can get those ganks going, and you can get those deadly Sun Rings going. So just with a tiny little bit, my Insanity.
And they're German.
Hey.
I quite like the draft of my Insanity, but I think TCM has a lot of potential as well. And I just want to see a Karazim just kick the hell out of everybody. So
that'd be nice.
I'm going to stick with TCM.
Grubby, are we going for Doomhammer? Are we changing?
I was going to go for my Insanity because Thrall never loses, but Todd's predictions are always 100%, so I'm going to put my entire faith on his prediction, TCM.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
This is a dangerous game you're playing. Did you ever see his StarCraft predictions?
Yeah.
It didn't end up so low. I caught back up at this kind.
Okay, you did. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be game number 1 here in the losers match, this best of 3, as we hand it over to Todd and Kendrick.
Here we go. Welcome to Tomb of Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen. We have Nurok here, rocking the Tyrande, Bloomby on the Johanna, Crosby here on the Leoric, whereas Whoopi brings the light and on the Uther. And of course, we have Thrall here, the one that everybody's been looking at on Darklock. Todd, take it away for the different team, for the other team.
And on the right-hand side, playing as the red team, we have Holo on the Kel'Thas, ADRD as the Karazim. Actually, that's going to be very interesting. Ramer Baller as the Leoric. Rzuf, I have such a hard time saying his nickname. Rzuf as the Malfurion. And then, who am I missing? The
there we
ETC,
go.
Chris
Explosion, man.
I can't say this guy's nickname.
I mean, they could have chosen easier nicknames, that's for sure.
All these
but we see the action going in here in the middle lane right away. Bloomby doing all he can to clear those waves with Knight takes pawn. Of course, a very, very solid talent to wave clear. It is really good. And in fact, take a look at Karazim. At his trade, we see the Iron Fist coming in, so there is no more doubt about the fact that Karazim is going to wreck and melt some faces potentially.
Tyrande going for an owl build here, at least so far on level 1. That's a little bit surprising against technically 2 healers in Karazim and Malfurion. I mean, I know Karazim's not going for a healer builds, but still, that's going to be quite a bit of healing that they're going to have available, so why go for that?
I mean, in her defense, I think Tomb of Spider Queen is a very good battleground for that because it's a very small map. It's a very predictable map, so you can't really miss that many Sentinels.
Maybe they thought they don't have enough damage as well?
Exactly, that as well. That could definitely be a thing. So it's going to remain to be seen who's got the upper hand in damage late game. I mean, Karazim has the strong numbers, but in the meantime, we see Leoric in the middle here. Wraithwalk not being used in time, and he falls. Rammer Baller here. Hopefully, he's not going to continue that trend.
Yeah, Whoopi was getting caught here a little bit for a second, but 3 against, it was 4 here. Not going to be easy here for them to pull off. So my Insanity with some good early game momentum here again, and a little bit of an experienced lead, but not too much just yet.
Exactly, and we don't see the Proc Rock build on an ETC this time. Instead, we're going to stick with the classic build here a little bit more. So, you know, an improved power slide to make it a little bit better to engage with these potential mosh pits later. I like it quite a bit. And I think there should be more than enough healing, even if Karazim doesn't really go full healing.
Yeah, it's so far double. With the double Envenom, actually, yeah, that's going to be quite a bit of damage here that they're going to deal very quickly here. mYi definitely boosting up their total damage here for some of these fights.
Rammer Baller escaping this time. Wraithwalk was used in time. Now we have the level 4 talents kicking, and we see double Envenom for Team mYi on Thrall and Sylvanas. So that's going to be a lot of early game damage over time that should never be underestimated.
Yeah.
But, you know, it remains to be seen whether it's going to kick in too hard. Actually, kind of a scumbag move by Chris Plosion here, power sliding away and letting Malfurion take the hit from the Luna Flare.
He's not a bro.
No, not a bro, here. Man. Not a fan. Not a fan. So
I can't believe actually like how much interrupt there is on mYi against the mosh pits that they're gonna have to face down the line. I really wonder like if we even see a single mosh pit properly landing. Like he's gonna take a big mistake, I feel, from mYi.
Yeah, and you can really see that, you know, Darkmog is in a lot of trouble here. Thrall making it away, even trying to re-engage. He's playing with fire there.
Calm down, big boy here. Take your time. That got dangerous very quickly here.
Yeah, Nurok holding his own. Tyrande, unfortunately, not the greatest laner when it comes to shoving the lane and clearing the waves. She will have to rely on her teammates to help her in that regard.
Neither team waiting for a very long time before getting like some kind of turn-in. They both got going very quickly with it, 28-17, and right now it's TCM that's trying to get their own turn-in here on the top side of the map.
Lumby, by the way, we see Protective Shield here on the Karazim. So he went for a defensive talent, even though obviously his goal is to be, you know, that to deliver a little bit of damage. So could that be some form of hybrid build? It remains to be seen.
I fully expected something like Overtake.
Yeah, right? It's such a good talent to give you more mobility, to increase your movement speed whenever you activate Deadly Reach. So yeah, that could be a new variation of Lowell's build. We shall see.
If you're going to play with the kicks, you need to play with the kicks all the way, man. I'm losing faith in that Karazim.
Yeah, a little bit. We shall see. Both teams are going to hit level 7, so we can then take a further look at the next talent. Let's take a special look at Karazim here. Still taking a little bit of time, but there we go. Way of the 100 Fists. That is a must. If you don't go for that talent on the damaged Karazim build, something is clearly wrong.
Yeah, it's going to help a lot for sure in dealing more and more damage. Let's see if Leoric, he's going to be able to get out easily here. It's so hard to catch a Leoric and like properly kill him unless you're enough of you've got all this turn lock in the wall landing onto him. The first full turn in here is achieved by mYi, and they're going to want to look to transform that here into a nice experience lead if they can.
Yeah, and I mean, TCM really has to keep their guard up here because, as we mentioned earlier, Sylvanas is just a deadly threat if she gets, you know, the support for the web viewers by disabling the structures.
Is there enough, do you think, burst heal to save an ETC in the front line from TCM? Because
in the early game,
he's gonna get double envenomed, and he's gonna be taken down pretty much instantly by Uther, Tyrande, and Johanna, like disabling him in particular. So if you think like Malfurion and Karazim, can they properly keep him alive? This may be why Karazim went for the shields. Yeah,
that's actually a very good point, Todd. Especially in the early mid game, it's very hard to you know, keep a target alive without those burst heals. But in the late game with talents like Storm Shield, I think it's going to get a lot easier.
Yeah, not too much experience here was gained from this, really. I mean, the bottom wall went down, but TCM doing a fantastic job of staying in this game here, experience-wise, very nicely. They've got quite a few gems to work with. 54. They only need to pay 11 more here to get the first full turn-in. But already on 48, mYi out of the 55 that they need for the second turn-in.
If we take a look at the structures, we actually see that the first turn-in for mYi didn't really do a whole lot. All forts are still in good shape, barely touched. So, you know, TCM has been doing a great job at defending. And maybe if they get a few towers themselves, they can actually close the gap and reach level 10 a little bit sooner than their opponents.
Yeah, which would be ideal if they can get an engagement out of it. They've got enough now. Let's see. Do both teams try to fight? Do they take the risk of going to a fight now? They could lose a lot of gems here. Whoever loses any kind of big fight.
Yeah, nice Shadow Dagger. You know, very sneaky to interrupt these players from turning in over and over again. And here we go, nice stun chain, but she gets away. Johanna can't be locked down. Blumby using his trade, the Iron Skin, when it was needed, but also, of course, nice support here by Tyrande and Uther.
That's
really good
gems.
teamwork.
Sylvanas gets caught, barely going to be making it out. Divine Shield was used just on time, but actually maybe was not even needed.
Yeah,
and TCM get their own turn in at the bottom. They're going to get engaged into at the top. Kel'Thas dies pretty much instantly.
Kel'Thas, man, they weren't level 10 yet, so you should never expose yourself too much. And before that, we saw the lightning reflexes here by Uther, who barely managed to cast Divine Shield as they just turned level 10.
Ever since Kel'Thas became a lot more about the chain bomb than he was about the Flame Strike, he's been dying a lot more. Yeah. I mean, personally, I was already dying when he was the Flame Strike meta, but nowadays it's so hard to stay alive. You have to get really up close to use the bomb, and then you're very exposed to dying.
So we can really see how Breath of Heaven also is a huge asset to increase your allies' movement speeds, which allows them to dodge a Lunar Flare, for instance, a lot more easily. So
so it is 7-sided strike.
It is 7-sided strike indeed. Remains to be seen whether it's going to be used on Thrall, Tyrande, or even a Johanna when she's exposed. Of course, it's more efficient if you use it on warriors with high HP.
How do you think Sundering should be used in these fights?
Sundering, you know, ideally, you want to separate the enemy teams. You want to separate Malfurion from Kel'Thas, for instance, you know, expose a very valuable target.
That's the dream.
Yeah, that's the dream.
Grammar Boulder in the bottom lane. Still doing all right, I guess. Hanging out with Dark Mode.
Yeah. So now they're going to try to, you know, get those rubies, get those jewels back in there. A lot of stuff here on the side of TCM. And you can really see in those pro matches that sometimes players get to stack like up to 70 or 80 gemstones because they're just getting constantly harassed and denied from the enemy team, right?
Yeah, this is very high level. When one team's on point and doesn't let you turn in, you're gonna have a really hard time. Darkmore gets caught here. Should be able to make it out without too much trouble. Nice. ADRD, I don't know why you're even trying, man. It's just not gonna happen today.
Although many people don't consider Thrall to be a top-tier pick, he's still quite resilient. I mean, it has it in its name. Frostwolf Resilience, his passive trait, is very, very strong. 7-sided strike coming in here from ADRD. Not doing much. Now, the answer from mYi. Sundering going in. Not really doing a whole lot of damage, though. So, Leoric using the March of the Black King defensively to not get stunned. You know, the Unstoppable, really an important effect here. Used defensively, it's okay, but you normally want to go for different.
Neither the 7-sided strike or the Sundering did much here in this fight. Chris Explosion, he's still got the mosh pit here. Does he go for it?
It is ready indeed, but Nurok actually would have been a good target, but it's just not enough to lock him down. Yeah, exactly. There's so many interrupts, and also it was just a 3v3 up there because Chris Explosion, the poison, is it going to be enough? Here we go. He could still back. There we go. Wow. Good healing by the guitar. Very, very nice.
Barely able to make it out here, out of there. And now the turn-in still wasn't achieved here by TCM. mYi relentless, made sure it never was going to happen, kept on interrupting them, and they get the turn-in themselves here. That's a big achievement at this stage in the game, where they are looking to get their level 13 earlier than their opponents.
Yep, so Blue Web Weavers once again coming in, and they are about to hit 13, as you said, Todd. Very nice. That gives them a slight talent edge. Of course, TCM not really too far behind, so they're going to close that gap eventually. But with the Sylvanas, the threat of constantly losing structures is always imminent.
Yeah, that push here is going to be really nice. We talked about how Sylvanas can come in really handy with this kind of attacks here now, but those Web Weavers, man, they will much oblige do their job.
And although the map is very small, Tomb of the Spider Queen, that is, we still have only seen 2 kills on the side of mYi and 0 kills on TCM, so this game is very, you know, patient.
That level 13 is crazy, actually, out of mYi with triple.
7-sided strike coming in, not really doing a whole lot. Nice Divine Shield, also protecting Blumby from falling.
Triple Spell Shield plus Overflowing Light, like how are they supposed to die at this point?
Yeah, I mean, that's the ideal counter for Kel'Thas. Even though he has the chain bombs available, they're not going to do much because there are 3 targets in the team of mYi. There we go. Malfurion getting stunned. Wailing Arrow coming in, interrupted.
The worst mosh pit of all time was interrupted instantly. They're on a chase now, though, TCM, and trying to get a big fight win there. Darkmark's gonna go down. They might be able to chase down the rest of the team and trying to kill as many as possible. Gravity Lapse lands on 2 heroes.
Big Gravity Lapse followed up by all the remaining team that TCM has to offer, and Thrall dying very early makes me a little bit sad because I would have seen, or would have loved to seen a little bit more coming in from the War Chief.
Yeah, what you'd love is to be right with your predictions, but so far it's not looking very good here in this game.
Well, I can't hide anything from you, Tuck, can I? Anyway, I'm not afraid to admit it. So there we go, another turn in this time for the red team for TCM. AD already trying to clear. Let's take a look at his build, by the way. He also went for Spell Shield at 13. So another talent that is not necessarily dealing a whole lot of damage, but so far, survivability.
Spell Shield over Relentless against Disco?
I don't know.
Relentless would have been better?
I mean, Thrall can stun you, Tyrande can stun you, Uther can stun you, and even Johanna with a Blessed Shield. That's a very interesting and bold move here.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, Thrall with the Chain Lightning can trigger it easily. Just pokey, and off goes the Spell Shield.
Okay, let's see. Right now, Mind Sanity is on the back foot. They're having to pull back. They're getting chased under their fort. Darkmark is going to get jumped on top of. Sundering is used, but 7-sided strike follows a nice save here.
Beautiful.
With the Divine Shield.
That was actually amazing. The Blessed Shield unfortunately didn't connect, but it wasn't even needed.
A massive turnaround.
Absolutely. Leoric dying in the back line. And you could actually see that although the Sundering not really doing much because AD already managed to dodge it with a 7-sided strike, they still managed to win that team fight. And it looks like Team mYi Insanity finally struck back, but we can't, of course, forget that the Web Beavers were doing their thing, and still not a very bad squad for TCM to be in terms of overall XP.
The Sundering that we've seen so far, actually, they haven't seemed very impactful here to those fights and the game in general just yet.
And I mean, if used from a good angle, if used correctly, Sundering can be single-handedly deciding a team fight, right? And Thrall, up to now, he just can't live up to the hype, but let's not forget that they still won the last engagement, and now we shall see the level 16 talents. Mercenary camps are going to be captured here. We see the renewed swing on Leoric, and we see, oh, that's actually nice, blinding speed on the Kharazim. That allows him to dash one more additional time.
But that's really good, actually.
Yeah, I like that quite a lot, and I've seen Kharazim builds going for Epiphany in level 20 for that, because it actually allows you to quickly recharge 2 charges of Radiant Dash. So it remains to be seen what we're going to see at 20.
ETC being the stronger warrior at the front, getting imposing presence, definitely going to help as well.
Oh, barely missed Luna Flare, but now that Leoric doesn't have Wraithwalk anymore, has to use his heroic ability, the March, but it is not enough. So not only did Leoric die, but now he has a massive cooldown on his kit. Can't use the heroic ability.
And he's going to come back way faster than his cooldown for the heroic is available. So putting his team in a little bit of trouble here, trading forts for forts. Those mYi Insanity try to get an engagement out of this. They've got so much vision thanks to these...
It's beautiful. These owls, they are just a force to be reckoned with. They give vision on the enemy team.
All the time.
Since they pierce through multiple enemies, they can also damage quite significantly. So I would actually like to see the damage numbers at some point, because I think Tyrande is actually up very far.
Been doing a pretty good job here. It's still anybody's game and very equal in experience here as Leoric comes back from the dead.
That's of course the good thing about Papa Leo, man. He's always back rather quickly. So, you know, we've seen a lot of Leorics, you know, almost some would call it feed, but when playing Leoric, it's not actually feeding. It's sometimes you have to sacrifice yourself for the team and then only to be back with new health and, you know, swing that team fight in your favor.
Yeah. It's not quite intentionally dying, but it's helping the team. 7-sided strike is going to land here on the Johanna. That's trying to make it out.
And once again, pretty good trade. I mean, pretty much an equal trade in terms of heroic abilities. 7-sided strike for Blessed Shield. They have roughly the same cooldown. Shouldn't really be too big of an issue.
Raymer Baller is out of position. Gonna use March of the Black King and the Mosh Pit lands.
That was a beautiful one indeed. Divine Shield here on the Thrall. He's causing a lot of pain in the back lines. Is it gonna be enough though? ETC, Crisplosion dropping really low. Blumby the same though.
Oh, the Tranquility did so much, and now they turn around and kill the Johanna. They're very low here, though.
I mean, they
TCM.
just killed the tankiest member of mYi, and without Johanna, there is no more beefy frontline to actually defend heroes like Tyrande and Sylvanas. They're going for the boss. It is a very good call, in my opinion. The boss might even be more important than turning in the gemstones, because as soon as you turn in the gems, the boss disappears.
Absolutely, but that means that now there is a free turn-in that can be achieved by mYi, and they're going to go for that. They're going to oblige. Owl is going to spot their opponents at the boss. I don't think they can quite do much about it, so they're not even going to try.
Oh, the irony. mYi can't even stop the enemy team from taking boss. I mean, what broke their back in the last series is now going to cause them a lot of harm. So no matter what they do, they're just never going to get a boss, eh?
Yeah, they can't win the boss wars so far. Yeah, it's okay, though, as long as they can stay in this.
And here we see the hero damage, by the way. Sylvanas up on top, but Tyrande not doing too shabbily either. But Thrall also with 45k, you know, really showing that he's capable of doing a lot of damage.
He's top tier, not just on Grubby stream, but in competitive as well.
Yeah. So the boss, of course, doing a lot of work, allowing TCM to rotate and, you know, soak on different lanes, pushing on different lanes. And the middle fort, or the bottom fort, excuse me, not really looking too healthily anymore. Now, that's going to fall.
Actually, the healing numbers of Uther were very low in comparison to just everybody else in general.
And by the way...
28,000 on Uther.
Yeah.
There's 46 on Malf.
Yeah.
And 28 on Karazim, who's going damage built.
That is still pretty impressive. I mean, Karazim is just all about the numbers when it comes to healing, of course. But what I also find very interesting is...
Whoa!
RIP! I mean, I can't believe how fast ETC died here. That was actually insane. And this buys them all the momentum and all... Oh, wow. Malfurion is not going to get away here, sir.
You better believe it. And so should TCM. They should have pulled back pretty much immediately. But Malfurion gets caught. And now, with 2 heroes dead for such a long time, knock, who's here? Well, it's the squad that wants to kill your kid.
And it's not just any 2 heroes. It's probably the main backbone of the team, the support and the main warrior. So you can't even hold the front line. You can't heal your supports. It's just a messy situation here for TCM right now.
It's funny actually to see Leoric stay across the map. He's like, all right, guys, good luck in defending. I'm going to try to soak what you guys put us behind here, because we are going to need 20 to fight these guys real soon. But right now, we also pulling back, setting up from behind.
You see a pretty large wave in bottom here for TCM, so that's going to buy them a little bit of time here, because mYi has to soak and has to defend that eventually. They're now 20.
Oh, Leoric, he almost has enough.
Yeah,
he's missing 3 to get the full turn-in by himself. He's going to be caught, but be able to make it out.
And for now, it's just, you know, TCM needs to play a stall game. They need to get 20 themselves. But that was what I was trying to say, because the teams kept interrupting me. Let's compare the Thrall build to that one that Grubby described. Grubby went for a very, you know, Feral Spirit and Chain Lightning heavy build, but Nuruk is sticking to the old guns, going for Wind Fury. Enhancing talents like Wind Shear, for instance, at level 7. And that's sort of the more old school build, and many consider it to be inferior to...
Yeah, but even when there's an Uther, because now he can actually go in and not necessarily have to worry that much. Even if he gets hit by 7-sided strike, you're going to have that Divine Shield coming in very quickly, and it's going to deal his damage anyway.
That might be, of course, a thing, but... Yeah, that would actually be a good question to ask Nuruk in an interview, when he prefers certain builds over others, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we go. Both teams have hit level 20, so they will fight on even footing. Phoenix coming in here. Chrisplosion taking a little bit of damage. But look at these regeneration heals coming in from Malfurion. Incredible, that sustain. And I think at level 20, TCM has actually good cards. Because they're so tanky and so hard to kill right now.
It's still anybody's game. Like whoever wins the big fight here is going to be in a fantastic position. So it's all about not just winning, but not losing the very important fight that could be about to take place here, where both teams to choose to try and fight now.
Yeah, that's a nice little wave here coming through mid. But hey, Flame Strike, easy peasy. In the meantime, Johanna turning in. Not sure if it's going to be enough. I don't think so. In fact, 50 out of 65.
Yeah, they need 9 more.
Yeah, they need a little bit more. Lumby doesn't really care, but...
Remer gets interrupted by the Owl here. And I think mYi might be about to launch into this fight here. Look out for the ETC. Never forget about the mosh pit, because even though there hasn't been any relevant one, it's still out there and a threat.
That's really nice, actually. Chris Plosion didn't lose his nerves. He was patient.
Yeah.
Because there was still a Wailing Arrow, still a Lunar Flare that could
He always
interrupt
waits for a very long time. I think he realized that if he uses it too early, it's going to be interrupted, and then his team's going to be in so much trouble.
That could be game-changing. Like, if you use Mosh Pit too early, if it gets interrupted, it's game-changing in a negative way. But if it succeeds, it can actually single-handedly win you the game. It's a very, very patient game. Both teams are sort of, observing each other, and none of them commits fully yet. But now we see the improved Shadow Star coming in, movement speed increased by every single team member.
Whoa,
very aggressive. Look at the balls. He just bolts into. Sunbring this time connects on almost the entire team of TCM, and Malfurion dead already.
Yeah, that's going to be a big problem. They choose to engage anyway, take out the Sylvanas pretty much instantly, but right now TCM needs to pull back. They're not doing so well hit points wise. 1-for-1 trade here.
It all started so well, and Darkmog, he is, that's just incredibly courageous.
Oh, both teams are going to race for the turn-in. Baller is alone at the bottom. He's going to ninja this one if he's allowed to.
And I think he can actually make it. Will be a little bit too late. He should have maybe used Holy Radiance, but it still wasn't enough. He interrupted them. Actually, very nice return kill. And look at all those juicy gems. The red team, TCM, is not going to get all of these. That's a lot.
That is a lot of money. A lot of gems were lost here. And TCM behind this couldn't even pick them up. They've got enough to complete the turn-in, but with one more hero dead, that's surely going to be a full turn-in here by mYinsanity. They can even... Oh, they could have started the boss before, but they choose to push instead. I mean, the lanes are already pushed as well. This is going to do so much damage.
That is really nice. They just need to wait for Sylvanas, who's going to respawn anytime soon now. And with Web Weavers, they can really maybe force a keep here.
Sylvanas is going to sync up with the Web Weavers.
Yeah.
Look at it. She's running right next to one right now.
And
she's catching up.
Sylvanas is catching up, and as you said, Todd, the waves are pushing in every single lane right now. So TCM, they have to put up the ultimate defense to not lose a keep. At the same time, they need to regroup early enough to not fall victim to an engagement here. We saw Darkmog, what he's capable of doing.
The double Storm Shield so far not paying off for TCM, getting caught out of position. They need to make sure that doesn't happen again. Ideally, they need a good mosh pit. Yeah. I mean, it's just so hard against this team. So far, it's really been mYinsanity that spread out well enough to make sure no good mosh pit ever got off. But one is all it takes sometimes.
Yeah. It's actually funny that you mention it, because I didn't see AD already going for a Storm Shield as well. So this is an entire new build or variation of the aggressive Karzim going in here. But so far, it's actually working kind of nice. Or at least not disastrous for his team. But look at these Web Weavers. They have punched through the top lane and mid and bottom as well. So the keep fell in mid lane. Bottom not really looking too healthy anymore either. Actually, there are 2 towers left. But still, that's a lot of damage that was done, and that could buy them enough time to actually do the boss. Are they going for it again? Oh my god.
Against the Tyrande? Maybe they got the Tyrande, but they revealed that they were there with the owl sending it there.
They're trying to catch one member off guard, but hey, AD man, he's not one to be messed with here.
Here we go.
Nice isolation, but it was a warrior. It was in fact ETC, and you just can't burst it down, so that Sunbring was not very optimal. Divine Shield not really doing a whole lot because Thrall was on the retreat.
Chris Plosion still waiting with the mosh pits.
Yeah, he has
it's now or never, man. You waited the entire game.
There we go, Blumby.
They're just going to go for the turn-in and be able to get it. ADRD not being interrupted, gets interrupted. Last second, mYi not synchronizing with the rest of his team here.
Where are the kills, Todd? I mean, both teams are playing so conservatively right now. They're really patient. They're just trying to win with the objective, apparently. But
Darkmog.
Yeah.
Oh, this power slide here. Oh, it's going to isolate Blumby for the rest of the team.
Yeah. I mean, Blumby is definitely not easy to take down. And I think the 7-side strike on a Johanna after level 20, not very good. Because even if she drops to 0, the indestructible trait is just going to go off. And you're just going to get away.
Hey, by the way, the core of TCM is on 90%. He took a bunch of damage, so they're going to need to be careful down the line here if they were to be attacked or even backdoored into.
Yeah, that's of course always a good choice. When you see that the enemy team is out of position, you just want to sneak behind their lines and get the core. I mean, the core, many people say after the patch scaling changes, is not as tanky.
Oh, Darkmog! Oh, there was no power slide. It's his lucky day.
Are we ever going to see a mosh pit here in that game? I mean, Chris Plosion.
They don't want to dance anymore, man. They've danced enough.
He should try free tickets or something. I don't know. He definitely needs to find a strategy to make people dance here. Now it is TCM pushing towards the enemy towers. top lane slacking a little bit behind, so they only have the pressure of mid and bottom at the moment.
TCM, they'd love to take a keep here. Remember, they've lost 2 already.
Yeah. You know what else we haven't really seen in that game? We haven't really seen that many good chain bombs.
Trying to isolate somebody there. Johanna is going to be the main target. Yeah, both teams done a very good job of spreading out, in particular mYi, who always, there is always the threat of chain bomb and mosh pits.
Yeah, exactly. So could we see an ambush here? No. TCM decides to clear the Bruiser camp, but they were getting revealed by a good Sentinel here. So now they have to fight mercenaries and potentially...
Just have said, that was a great opportunity for a mosh pit.
Yeah, but they decided to let the mercenaries go to mYi. I really wonder when they're going to go in for like a real fight, because up to now they're playing run and seek.
It's not definitely not been going their way here. TCM in the last few minutes. It's actually 9 kills to 5 in mYi's favor. Experience-wise, still very even. Both teams closing in on level 23. It's a trap.
They're pretending to do the boss. They're trying to come in from behind. Oh, the blast shield! Where did that one go? It didn't even connect, but it wasn't needed.
Still gets blown up anyway.
Just imagine if that blast shield had hit, but it wasn't even needed. Kel'Thas dropping within a millisecond here, although he had Arcane Barrier ready.
TCM needs to get out. If they lose more heroes, they're going to be getting eliminated in a second.
A very bad situation to be in. mYi on the warpath. They're going for the enemy core. It's down to 90% already. And without a Kel'Thas and without a Malfurion, can they hold this?
Mosh pit now is down, never. There is so much interrupt. Chris.Plosion power slides in. He's not using it just yet. He's still saving it. He's hoping to get stunned and then be able to use the mosh pit. Can they hold?
Wow, they're doing a fairly good job here with 3 people only. Chris.Plosion is now going to fall. He is down, but also mYi actually not looking in the best shape ever.
Yeah, that bought us some time, but was it enough? Kel'Thas 15 seconds away here from reviving.
Here from Shadowstalk that's coming in, and I think they have what it takes. Look how quickly the core is dropping. 40%, 30%. That is GG.
A fantastic game here by mYi. Patience until the end. It didn't look that good in the mid game. They stayed in it, got 2 keeps, and then stayed patient.
Yeah.
Not a single mosh pit. That's what I'm talking about.
And no failed boss attempts. So, yeah, looking really strong. We've had some wonky Sunbrinks in the beginning of the game, but Darkmok doing a lot of work as the game progressed.
Yeah, that was very well conducted here by mYi. You know, there was a few moments where I thought that they were going to be in trouble and maybe crumble under the pressure, but in the end, they just stayed focused and did what they had to. All right, let's break it down, Grubby. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Thrall worked out really well here. He only had 1 death as a melee assassin. It's kind of rare. Very different, plays out very differently, doesn't he? From like an Illidan or a Kerrigan or a Butcher or something. It worked out really well. We saw a number of Blessed Shield misses.
Yeah.
But they were still more effective than the mosh pits.
And what do you say to, I mean, I've talked about this during the game, but what do you think about the Wind Fury build? It's not the build that you foresaw.
Yeah, so the Wind Fury build has 2 advantages, and the Chain Lightning build has 3 advantages. The Chain Lightning build does more burst. You can test it on the test dummy if you don't believe me. More
because
burst.
Of follow-through?
Yeah, because of follow-through. More burst. It has more poke, so you have more diversity of playstyle because you have the Chain Lightning on the range.
Yeah.
And it also has more damage over time. So these are the advantages. But the Wind Fury build has 2 advantages. It's more uptime of movement speed. It's the 30% bonus movement speed from Wind Fury. And it also has more self-sustain. And I think that was the key here, because after Divine Shield, he was expected to be independent.
And here we go into the replay of what was going on at the very end of that. And we saw Kel'Thas, even though Blessed Shield missed, he got blown to smithereens.
Wow. That's what I started talking about at some point here.
Yeah.
They didn't have Divine Palm, and the burst heal wasn't there here for TCM. So there was so much burst damage with, you know, having Uther, Thrall, even like the Wailing Arrow and Tyrande. That's it made it very scary from a certain point from mYi. I think they used that very well in the end with some good targeting fire.
So based on what you just said, actually it makes a lot of sense. Malf was the wrong pick then. Kharazim should have stayed the support, should have kept the Divine Palm, and they should have taken something else.
If that was the reactionary move from them, to like say we have Kharazim and then try and...
Are you saying the mad scientist calculations were wrong?
Maybe this time yes, because they had to protect the Kel'Thas comp as the solo assassin.
Yeah.
But normally you've got triple warriors who really push their weight around. This time it was like Karzim. He doesn't push his wave around. It's like he's floating like a butterfly, stinging like a bee, sure, but he's not staying there.
I mean,
protecting.
Yeah.
Even some of those kills, like I don't think you could have saved Kyle Fast in that last fight, for example, with a Divine Palm, because he disappeared.
It was so fast.
He disappeared so quickly.
He had Bolt and Arcane. He didn't get to activate, right? Bolt and Arcane Barrier.
They got time to activate nothing across.
Did the game end? Yeah, I think actually ETC at the end died without even using mosh pits. He got chased down.
Yeah, there was no opportunity.
He was patient, maybe too patient.
It was definitely a nightmare.
It's like, I think it's nice to be patient and to want to land a mosh pit, but if you always end up dying before you can use it, then it means you haven't even made anybody use their stuns. Because imagine he uses mosh pit and then everybody overreacts and stun him at the same time. It means they've all used their stuns, which they haven't spent elsewhere. So that's something that maybe he could have taken into consideration and tried to use it at times.
He also had the face push, the face smelt talent at level 7. And not the CC reduction, the crowd control. Because if you turn on your guitar solo right before you press mosh pit, every time you get stunned out of it, you only have the half duration. So it's really awesome to take all those stuns with that.
I've got to ask you guys, after seeing Thrall in that first game here for the first time in quite a while in competitive play, has he done enough there to convince you that he's worthy of a position at the moment?
I think Grubby mentioned a really good point and gave a brilliant analysis of how versatile Thrall can be. And with a good protection from Uther, that was definitely the case in that game, he can be a force to be reckoned with. And it is really good for mYinsanity because it makes them more unpredictable to the other teams as well.
Yeah.
Do they have to expect a Thrall as a last pick now? We don't know.
Well, let's get into